Hello and welcome to Skolaris Weekly. I'm your host Martin Klemsa. I'd like to talk today about overconfiguration. Sometimes people configure Skolaris too much. They give Skolaris too much information, redundant information, which only makes their work harder but doesn't help the optimization at all. If they're lucky, their redundant constraints are ignored. If they're unlucky, they actually only contribute to slowing down the whole process. So let me give you an example. You can see a timetable here, and let's concentrate on year 5 block B, which we can see on Monday period 2, Tuesday somewhere late, Wednesday in the middle. And let's say we'd like to move block B lessons to the front. In fact, we'd like all the days to start with this block B. So how should we go about doing it? Well, the best thing is to find a single course in block B and set its position to first. So how do we identify courses in block B? Let's unfold option blocks. And we can see that block B is just English. So let's find 5th English courses. So there are 3 of them. And let's change the placement of one of them to first. And that's enough. We're done. If we go back and run the optimization, Skolaris should be able to move English to front, but it's a soft constraint with a low weight, so it's probably not going to happen for all the lessons, but nevertheless we should have some success. We can see we hadn't had much success with moving English to front. If this happens to the regular user, they might think, oh, maybe I forgot to tell Skolaris that I want all the other English courses in the first position as well. So they go to the list of courses and then change lesson placement for the next course and this course as well. So now they've done 3 things, but they shouldn't really have done that, because Skolaris knows that if a course is a part of an option block, it doesn't matter if you set up placement for all of them or for just one of them. So let me just disable placement for the 2nd and 3rd courses of the block and do the correct thing, which is just slightly increase the weight of the lesson placement of the single course. When I go back to the timetable and examine the health and fitness breakdown, I can see that just by increasing weight by one point, my lesson placement broken constraints are already at the top of the list as the most important broken constraints in the timetable. So that's what I wanted to achieve. The constraint is now important, and now just need to let Skolaris do its thing. Note that it still doesn't mean that English will necessarily come to the front, because there's so many aspects to the timetable. But what it does mean is that we've now made our intent clear without doing too much work. Let's leave this running for just a little bit longer. I think this is enough for demonstration. Our block B has been moved near the front. Another example of overconfiguration is room preferences. Sometimes people put in a preferred room for a certain subject, such as chemistry or science. Let's put a preferred room for science, 1 and 2. And then when Skolaris doesn't assign all the lessons to that room, they go to the list of courses and they just assign a preferred room to the science courses as well. This was so common, in fact, that we've added inherited preferred rooms control into the course screen so that users can see immediately what rooms are preferred by the course by default, but this still doesn't stop them from adding science again as preferred rooms for courses of a subject that already prefer the science room. So this is another example of redundant configuration. Please don't do that. Trust Skolaris. If it doesn't put your science into the science room, it has other reasons. You don't really help Skolaris by putting in this extra configuration. It will not help the optimization. Let's in fact examine the timetable. The room preference wasn't there at all, so probably those science lessons won't be in the preferred rooms. Maybe Skolaris can change it quickly. Let's examine the lessons in the science room. Let's actually see all the science lessons. And let's use room algorithm to try to reschedule the rooms. Room random non-ascendant search. Okay, let's try to change the rooms and see what's wrong. Oh dear, our room doesn't have the capacity to host these lessons, and in fact, if I cared to check the warnings, I would have seen that immediately, that room science has insufficient capacity to host lessons for teaching group 1A for subject science. So that is another takeaway from this installment of Skolaris Weekly. Please check your data warnings and errors, and please do not overconfigure Skolaris. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Leave your comments and questions below the video, and I'll talk to you next time. Have a nice day. Bye.